This is the Dodgers POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Los Angeles Dodgers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Check.
Your team every day.
Check. Well, hello and welcome to another Locked On Dodgers POSTCAST on the Locked On Dodgers YouTube channel. Instant reaction. We break it down right after it is over. I am Pete Fox, covering sports in LA dating back to 2007 for ESPN LA and NBC Sports Radio. We appreciate you allowing us to be your source for your team every day. It's been a nice 3-game set. Got the weekend off to a good roll for the Dodgers on Thursday, and they wrap up the sweep tonight. They are off tomorrow before they host the Braves on Monday. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Well, again, Dodgers come from behind to get the win. Dodgers are now 5-0. No defending champion has started 5-0 since the Detroit Tigers did it back in 1985. So I feel like kind of an apropos win for the Dodgers, coming from behind again. What is that? 4 out of 5 now they've come from behind to win, largely based on the long ball. And really, I think they bailed out Roki Sasaki, who was just not good, not throwing strikes, had a rough outing. An inning and 2/3 was all they got from him. And the bullpen came in and was like lights out. So what will we be talking about after this one?
This is what you'll be talking about.
I think it's fairly obvious. The Dodgers are absolutely loaded and stacked, tonight. And I think this is one of the things that we're going to see from them for a large part of this season. They don't need to have more than half of their lineup be hot on any given night. I feel like this lineup is so deep. As long as we have the majority of our hitters not chasing bad pitches, and Oral brought this up tonight, and it's a very, very good point. They've gotten this season off to a very good start because they have been up there as if it's, middle of June, middle of July. They're not up there, trying to find their rhythm and get their legs. They're up there battling, looking for good pitches and not chasing bad pitches. There's a couple of guys on this team still trying to find their way. Freddie Freeman was that guy for, one game maybe, and now he is locked in. Another home run tonight, 2 for 4 on the night with 2 RBI. Will Smith, his first home run of the season. Max Muncy's still struggling. But again, when you're as deep as the Dodgers are, with Mookie Betts out, Teo Hernandez, another huge clutch hit for them. So you got Teo, you got Freddie, you got Will Smith. And then you could just, Shohei Ohtani obviously is always going to be good. No hits tonight, but walked twice. So his on-base percentage just a few ticks under 500. Well, more than a few. It's 478, but it's a fairly substantial number and will probably continue to increase. His slugging at 722, a little bit low for him. But again, hasn't been making great contact, but has been up there battling, finding good pitches and putting balls in play. And just about every time Shohei hits the ball, he hits it hard. 1 strikeout tonight. So when you've got this kind of lineup, Ohtani, Hernandez, Freddie, Will Smith, and then you can pick one other guy that, hopefully is halfway locked in. And that guy of late has been Tommy Edmond. Another home run for him tonight. It was his 3rd of the season, 397 feet. And it was a first pitch sweeper. Another thing the Dodgers have been doing this year a lot is jumping all over first pitches. I'm a huge fan of that. I love that because I feel like you have a little bit of an advantage at that point. Sometimes working the count does not always work to your benefit. You jump on them early and you take advantage of them. And that's what Tommy Edmond did tonight. And so did Freddie. His first pitch home run on a 4-seam fastball, 418 feet. After the Dodgers gave up 2 in kind of a weird way in the first inning. It wasn't like the Tigers were, smacking the ball all over the yard. Margot reached on an infield single back to the pitcher. That scored Zach McKinstry, and the runners move up, and then Sweeney walked, and Torkelson scored there. So they get their first 2 runs without even hitting the ball out of the infield. And Freddie comes up in the bottom of the first, gives the Dodgers their first run of the game to make it 2-1. Then in the second, Conforto doubled to second, scoring Andy Pajas, who looked a little better tonight. I need to give credit where credit was due. That at bat for Andy Pajas with the laser line drive up the middle was a nice piece of hitting. He found a pitch he liked, shortened up his swing a little bit. I don't know that he's capable of shortening it up too much, but he shortened it up a little bit, and that was nice to see. So I think the good news from this game is they mounted the comeback earlier. I thought it was funny last night. I was reading the comments. You guys have been fantastic so far this season with the comments. So much so that it's hard for me to keep up with them. Our shows now here on the Locked On Dodgers YouTube channel for the Locked On Dodgers postcast are shorter. Last year we did 28, 29, 30 minutes. This year we're doing 15, 16, 17 minutes. So, I have to get right to it, get to cracking. And I don't always have the time to, kind of peruse through. I don't have a producer sitting over here, in the wings, reading my thing saying, oh, you should post to this one. So, I try to, see a few and send them over into the window. But after the show, I'll read through them. And somebody last night said, Jesus, I hope this isn't going to be the whole season. This is going to kill me if it is, because of the Dodger heroics and the exciting come from behind late inning wins like they had last night. I think it might have been Kenny Chung who made that comment. I'm not exactly sure, but he says tonight, Roki looked atrocious. No sugarcoating it. Yeah, that really, look, I mean, I don't know that any Dodger fans at this point in time would feel like if the Dodgers came out and laid an egg that it was a problem. I was like, well, Sasaki's young, is still trying to find his way in Major League Baseball. Although he looked good in Japan in the second game against the Cubs, did not have it tonight. So, if they come out and lay an egg and lose one, I think everyone's going to be like, yeah, it's bound to happen, right? But this is fantastic. Just rolling along like this, coming from behind, hitting home runs, and just clutch hitting. It almost seems like, all right, we need a clutch hit now, and boom, there it is. We'll take the break, come back, and get into player of the game and turning point of this game, because they are one in the same. I am Pete Fox. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. It's the Locked On Dodgers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel. I feel like my hat is crooked. I hate it when that happens. Just a tad bit off. We appreciate you allowing us to be your source for your team every day. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Dodgers postcast is brought to you by Game Time. There's nothing better than catching an MLB game live. The crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, the smell of the ballpark food, the first sight of the green grass when you're walking through the concourse down to your seat. That's a memorable moment that you will have with you for the rest of the season and probably for the rest of your life. If you're looking for good priced last minute tickets, give Game Time a try. Their last minute deals and all-in pricing are fantastic. They also have a low price guarantee. Game Time takes the stress out of buying MLB tickets. Plus, ticket prices drop as the game time gets closer. If you're going to the game with your buddies and you have that desire to be a little risky, you can wait up until like an hour before the game, and it'll save you a nice chunk of money. And another great thing about Game Time is they do views from the seats, so you can see before you purchase the ticket whether or not it's a halfway decent or a good seat, because sometimes moving over or back a few rows can save you a lot of money, and it doesn't really change the view of the field. So download Game Time, use the app, or go online. The app is much easier and fantastic, very, very user-friendly. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. That's Locked On MLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. Tonight's show also brought to you by Prize Picks. Baseball season is in full swing, and there's no better way to get in on the action than with Prize Picks. The best way to play daily fantasy sports. With Prize Picks, you pick more or less on at least two players from two teams. If your projections are right, you can win up to 1,000 times your money, whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs, on base percentage, total bases. There's so many options. You really have to find your lane and say, these are the things I know about, and these are the things I like to see happen. So I'm going to wager on these things. So download the app today. It is Prize Picks. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 off instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's Locked On MLB, $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. All righty. Dodgers with what was the final? Was it 7-3? I think I even looked at the final score. Yeah, 7-3 the final after Roki Sasaki only made it an inning and 2/3, giving up 2 runs on 3 hits and 4 walks. He was yanked. Dreyer came in 1 1/3. No damage there. 0s across the board and 1 strikeout on 15 pitches. Ben Kasparias has looked really good, and he's been spinning the crap out of the ball. The comments about Kasparias' outings through this series and through the start of this season have been that he just has a different demeanor about him, a different sense of confidence. And I totally agree with that. He comes out and he's dominant. I've liked Ben Kasparias since the first time we saw him, and I feel like he's just better, and he's spinning the crap out of the ball, which is really nice to see. He went 1 inning, 1 strikeout. Banda, 1 inning, 2 strikeouts. Garcia gave up the run. He went 2 innings, 1 run on 2 hits, but had 2 Ks and 1 just awful mental error. Sin bin as far as I'm concerned. Lazy ground ball to Freddie Freeman. And what does Garcia do? Nothing. Does not move off the mound, does not cover first base. And Freddie Freeman's like, what? Very reminiscent of the World Series in Garrett Cole, which worked in the Dodgers' favor. Fortunately, this one did not affect the Dodgers at all. They got a double play shortly thereafter. But PFP, it is fundamental baseball. PFP. I know many of you don't know what PFP is. It stands for pitchers fielding practice. It is the first thing they do when they show up at spring training. They don't do anything before they start working on PFPs. You have to cover first base. There's no other way around it. There's no excuses. You have to cover first base. Enough said. It did not affect the Dodgers, but I was like, come on, what are you doing? Kirby Yates, 1 inning, struck out the side, and Blake Trinan, 2/3 of an inning. How does that make any sense? 2/3 of an inning? Okay, the stats aren't right. Well, he got 1 strikeout, gave up 1 hit for the final bullpen outing of the night. So the bullpen came in and did their job, and that's nice to see. I hope we don't have to do that a lot. We need 4 or 5 out of the starter pretty regularly as this season rolls along. You're not going to be able to keep that up and keep your bullpen healthy. Another guy tonight that I'd like to see over the last couple of games. I've always liked his swing. Michael Conforto has such a beautiful swing. I mean, left side of the plate, most left-handers have really, really pretty swings, and he's just so smooth and had a double tonight with an RBI, which was nice to see. But as far as the player of the game,
this is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Pretty simple. Teoscar Hernandez roping one down the line to knock in a pair for the Dodgers, which was huge for them. That came in the 5th inning, double to left. Conforto scored and Ohtani scored. And from there, it was pretty much over. So that would also be
time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Yep. That's it right there with Teoscar Hernandez batting in the 2-hole, filling for Mookie Betts, who is off tonight after the huge night last night with 2 home runs and the walk-off 3-run jack. tonight. They moved Teo into the 2-hole on the 2-run double. That ball was smoked down the line, and it was one of those ones where you're like, please be fair. Please be fair. And it was down into the corner, 2 runs scored, and from there it was all Dodgers. Will Smith, a no-doubter to left. As you guys know, you regulars here to the Locked On Dodgers postcast, you know that my affinity for Will Smith's hitting is, I'm a big fan. He's a very, very good hitter when things are going well, and they are so far to start this season. That home run made it 5-2. So all said and done, Dodgers hitting the home run, Dodgers pitching well out of the bullpen, and everything is rolling along as they wrap up the sweep and are now 5-0 to start the season. Off day tomorrow, back at it on Monday, sweatshirt night at the Ravine, and it is the Atlanta Braves in town, who are just driving up from San Diego. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. It's the Locked On Dodgers postcast on the Locked On Dodgers YouTube channel. We appreciate you allowing us to be your source for your team every day. We will talk to you on Monday. Have a good night. Take